Here we are going to talk about the research or statistical questions for a research project. So they are fundamental initiators of the research. It is one that can be answered by collecting data and where there will be variability in that data. Two different researchers collecting two different samples, there will be variations in your findings. So therefore, that's where the variables are first mentioned. So the variables are first mentioned in the research questions. A research question is different from a question that anticipates a deterministic answer. I normally call them simple questions. So example, what is your age? That's a simple question. You can simply answer that question without doing any data collection. So a research question requires that you collect data in order to answer it. The simple questions are normally found in the questionnaire. Okay, so for example, if you're trying to determine the average age of students at the college, for example, you will create a questionnaire and you will ask your respondents, what is your age? That will be a simple question, and each one will give their response. Okay, and that will be in the process of data collection. We are going to be answering simple questions in order to determine the answer for a research question. So there are two main categories of research questions, quantitative and qualitative. So let's first talk about quantitative research questions with some examples. Quantitative research questions are objective in nature. The data obtained with quantitative research questions are numerical. They can be, well, that's numbers, yes. So when you collect the data, if you perform a sample or a census, if you perform a sample, that means you take a fraction of the population. If you perform a census, that means you interview the entire population. The data that you collected, whether sample or census, will be numbers. It will be numerical in nature. So that's what quantitative research questions will lead you to collect quantitative or numerical data. They can be both represented diagrammatically using charts, example, pie charts, box and whiskers, etc. They can be represented using stem and leaves, and they can also be analyzed by calculating descriptive measures called statistics or parameters. So if you have a quantitative research question and you perform a sample, you will calculate descriptive measures called statistics. If you interviewed or if you collected data from the entire population, your descriptive measure will be called a parameter. Hence, according to this flowchart, you've got quantitative research questions, which will lead you to collect numerical data that will lead you to calculate descriptive measures. And if it's from a sample, they are called statistics. And if you have collected data from the entire population, they are called parameters. So just a slight next amendment to this diagram. Quantitative research questions will lead you to calculate or will lead you to collect quantitative or numerical data. I think this needs to be added here. So here you have it. Quantitative research questions lead you to collect quantitative or numerical data that will lead you to calculate descriptive measures to describe the data that you have collected. And if you have collected a sample, these descriptive measures are called statistics. But if you have performed the census, that means you collected data from the entire population, these descriptive measures are called parameters. Before we move on to the examples, I just wanted to point out, after you have posed the research question, then you have collected the data, which will be numerical because it's a quantitative research question. You have to diagrammatically represent the data using diagrams and charts. Then you can calculate descriptive measures. And if it's from a sample, they are called statistics. And if it's from a population, they are called parameters. So here we have 4 examples of quantitative research questions, such as what is the average mathematics score of the nursing students of semester 2 2023? And as you can see, the variable is introduced right away in the research question. The variable here are color coded, and for this one is mathematics score, which is a number. Number 2, what is the relationship between distance from school and academic performance? These 2 variables, distance and academic performance, are quantitative in nature. You need a number for you to, record when you have calculated distance and academic performance. Third, is there a significant association between academic major and mathematics performance? So therefore, now what is going to be happening there? Even though academic major is a qualitative data, but the analysis will be quantitative. So the research question makes it a quantitative research question. And number 4, is there significant differences in mathematics performance across gender? For example, does male perform better than female or vice versa? Or is there no difference at all? So that now is a quantitative research question because the variables are quantitative in nature.